Roberto brings up a point here about the Brent Venables defense. So Alex Grinch is certainly a capable defensive coordinator. Brent Venables is considered arguably the best in the business. It would be intriguing to see day to day, both in the film room and on the field, and then during a game, what the differences would be, will be, and what makes Venables so good. Is it that he teaches fundamentals and techniques better? Is it that his scheme's better? Is it that his in-game adjustments are better? Is it his understanding of the opposing offense better? Or is it all those things put together?
Trying to be diplomatic here. I don't think it's necessarily all of those things. I think the philosophy is just much different on both sides of the ball. I think Grinch's philosophy was, he preached a lot about forcing turnovers. So I think the thought was he was okay giving up some points. He was okay even letting some teams getting the high 20s and 30s, but he felt like from this day and age offense, it's not super practical to be able to stop them at maybe at the level that he would like. But I think if he forces 3 or 4 turnovers a game, then he has the opportunity to kind of flip the field as far as that goes. So I think the thing that's much different with Venables is, I think first and foremost he has a much, I think, longer and deeper track record for producing great defenses than Alex Grinch does. So I think he's been around. Obviously, he's been around the game a lot longer. So, with what he did at Oklahoma and then obviously at Clemson, you know, he has. And then this is not just me saying this. I think multiple people across the board think if he's not the best defensive coordinator or defensive mind, he's top 2 or top 3 in the country. So I think, that what kind of separates him from what Oklahoma has had in the past, whether it be Stoops or whether it be Grinch, is the fact that he's very multiple. We talked about this. He's not going to sit in the same. He's not going to sit back in the nickel all game long and maybe have some, bring some pressure from different angles. He's going to give you multiple looks. Like I said, Oklahoma's going to have 4, maybe 5 defensive linemen at times. He's going to have, 3. He's going to drop back into the nickel. He's going to. So I think there's the multiple looks thing is going to be something that's going to be that's a little bit of a differentiator for him. I think also, you know the desire that these kids have to play for a guy like Venables is something that you're seeing on the recruiting trail and something that you've seen early on. I mean, there's kids that really had their mind made up that they were going to enter the NFL draft. I mean, Jeremiah Hall is one, Perrion Winfrey is one, and he almost changed their mind in terms of, this was the plan. They went through this and they liked him so much, knowing that they were on their way out, that they almost, changed their mind to be able to, to want to play for him. So I think, the buy-in that these kids continuously have year after year with him is good. But I think also you touched on it, Mark. I think the physicality, Oklahoma, how they started, they started the first day in practice and 3 or 4 extremely physical tackling drills that you don't really, it's as physical as you would see for a practice this day and age. So I think the physicality and how aggressive I think they'll be, I think is one thing. And granted, that's bitten BV in the past, just in terms of how aggressive he is on the defensive side of the ball. But he he brings that aggressiveness, which has been missing from this team for quite some time. Now, I'm not one of those that are just going to go out on a limb. This team is going to have a top 10 defense this year. I don't know that that's necessarily practical, but I think it's very logical to think that this is a top 20 to top 30 defensive team this year. And if they, and like I said, this is the question that we've kind of asked ourselves: is it talent or coaching? So I think we'll be able to find out early on in Venables' career this year is if he will if him and that defensive coaching staff, which is very, very good, will have these kids playing at a much higher level than what they were over the last couple 3 or 4 years.